Yo, sorry I missed the episode yesterday. I was like really sick. I wanted to record something, but I just it was not gonna happen. Um, this episode is essentially about how thinking about your end result is actually preventing you from gaining that reward. Or in other words, this video is essentially about how when you shift your focus from the reward, you actually attract more of it itself. Have you? Let me ask you a question. Have you ever heard of um the more focused you are about money, the less money comes to you, or something along the lines of that? Well, essentially, in essence, that is true. The more you have focus on money, the less opportunities you have to earn it because you're so focused on that reward. You're not focused on the ability to obtain it. You're more focused on the representation that it has towards you, and that focus not being put towards those opportunities or other endeavors and ventures is what prevents you from gaining more. When you have your sole focus on like or tunnel vision on one viewpoint, you lose sight to all the different paths there are to that endpoint. Um, so yeah, that I wrote like a whole page discussing that, but that's pretty much it. I mean, really, um, just try to find new avenues and try to put less emphasis and focus on the thing that you want and more on opportunities that can get you that thing. Whenever you put energy into the um the process itself, you open yourself up to more opportunities to get the reward that you're looking for. If your excuse me, if your goal is to be um a well-known writer, you don't need to be thinking about being known as a well-known writer. What you need to be thinking about is what the well-known writer does or has done to become or get into that position. And that's essentially the same thing when it comes to like money and profit. Whenever whenever you're being told not to think or put more focus into like serving people, the reason that they're told to serve people, if money is what you want, is because in doing so, the exchange for your service is payment or a form of payment or enrichment. I mean, you can. There is the emphasis or the idea of it being done for a sense of selflessness, but in that same selflessness, you create opportunities and forge bonds and connections with individuals that could be transferred into monetize and they could be bait into monetization or pathways to monetization. If you help a farmer, if in the past you would help out your local farmer or like your neighbor, right, with a service, whether that be you chilling their yard or mowing the lawn or helping them put a wheel back on their cart or whatever, right? And in exchange, they would provide either a good or service to you. Maybe they bake bread, maybe they share their corn, maybe they share their crops or something like that. You know, that's essentially what they're telling you whenever they tell you to focus more on serving people than focus on to getting money. Is the whole thing is that you're creating by not focusing on that endpoint or your reward, you end up creating more opportunities for you to get those things. And because you're so more focused on being the person or um, looking for those opportunities, the money itself will just naturally come. You're not focused on the reward anymore, but more the opportunities to earn the reward. So yeah, just if I were, I mean, uh, I took some time and I wrote it down. I really thought about it. I think it's a good thought experiment to write down what your goal is and not necessarily look at the end point of itself, but work backwards into what are the habits, the patterns, or the mannerisms, or the actions that you have to take in order to get that. And then in that process, forget what the goal is. If your goal is to become a millionaire, forget becoming a millionaire. Instead, figure out what millionaires do to become millionaires. They have diverse income, they have a multitude of skill sets, and they have communicational skills. So then you have multiple different pathways now to become a millionaire. I mean, it sounds easy in practice, but it's supposed to. You want to make sure that you have a blueprint, and being able to take your eyes away from your your endpoint, broadens out your blueprint because then you can work from there. It gives you something to work on instead of you obsessing about this one thing over and over again. So yeah, I'm gonna do an extra video either tomorrow, so there might be two, or Friday or Saturday. So we'll see. Thank you for watching. Peace.